That was noisy. Okay. All right. So there, make sure we are not squeakity squeaking. Let me see if I've hit 150 yet. No. Sitting at 149 subscribers. I am checking checking YouTube right now. Make sure we are broadcasting reasonably decently. Come on. Come on. There it is. Come on. Make some noise. Come on. There we go. Okay. All right. I surprise anybody for a second before on. That's probably me. Okay. Here we go. Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Resales. My name is Ryan. I get stuff from yard sales, garage sales, thrift stores, backyard, side of the road, and various other legal venues, and try to make some extra coin online to pay for things. So, like this great hat I got from small time bookseller. Anyway, by the way, go see his channel. He's great. Anyway, today listed a bunch of like death pile. I like the term profit pile, but we'll see about that stuff. 6 sales over the past 24 hours, and a handful of other things. What is this bag? Oh, that's that. Okay. That bag I had to check. So anyway, a few other things to handle. So, plus a really big sale. I'm glad this stuff's going to get going, but it's going to be a headache. And we're going to talk about that. So, any dang way. Starting oot. Start on the low side. Okay. Sneezing. Okay. Bless me. Satan Satan's Witchcraft. $8. This is by Richard W. DeHaan. DeHaan... This may be his son, but I think this guy's father has a bunch of theology and stuff books out there that, at minimum, are worth wadding up. And I want to say I've sold a good handful of them for $10 or $15. He did not so much a tract as like a monthly Bible study devotional guide, back in the 60s and 70s, and I've sold bundles of those. So, DeHaan, look for that name while you're out thrifting, and if you see them for $1 or less, I would say grab them and try them. This one went for $8 shipped, so made a couple bucks there. Plus, it's also one of those categories that tends to do decently selling, so sin sells, I guess. Occult stuff kind of sells, even if it's from the Christian perspective of how it's bad. There you go. Anyway, next up is I've actually sold this is the second one I've sold this week. A bag 10 of these. This is I wish I could be cool enough to do that with one hand. It's sort of a folding knife thing. I'm selling 10 for $9 shipped. I got these stupid cheap, so making a couple of bucks on a bundle. I'll sell another 2 or 3 lots of these like this. I'll actually be in the black and making money on these. So I may have 300 up there. So I'm hoping to make a few bucks here and there off of these. I'm gonna bring them out to flea markets and that sort of thing too. So pack of those. It's an easy pack, easy ship. Bulk stuff is great if you can get your hands on it and if it sells. So it's always worth considering if you can see something that's like, I wonder if I couldn't sell 30 of those. So worth trying. I've had some decent success this year on various items that I've found a box full of and was able to flip. So the trick is undercutting everybody. Anyway, okay. Next up. That one. The Omen? Oh, here we go. Omen 4. Armageddon 2000. $10 shipped for this book. From the Omen. I want to say I've sold a couple other Omen books over the years, and this is one of those horror books always worth grabbing. So there you go on that one. Next up, another consistent seller. Highland, Orphans of the Sky, $13 for this paperback. And you may be wondering, well, this is a little bit older. A more modern version of this goes for a little bit less. I don't think this is a first edition, but this is a 1970 Heinlein paperback. It's a really decent shape for what it is. So I like grabbing Heinlein. I've got several lots out there. I don't think I've ever had a Heinlein I didn't sell. So think about that. Look the books up, but they're also worth lotting up. Minimum, a Robert Heinlein paperback, minimum in even okay condition is like a $3 book. So you can lot those up, and I've got several lots out there that I expect will eventually sell. Finally, The Cosmic Connection by Carl Sagan. Billions and billions. No, $13 again. So I look up Sagan, older Carl Sagan stuff is worth looking up, particularly hardcover. So worth snagging there. This is from 1973. So go grab you some Carl Sagan stuff. Or at least look it up. Finally, and I mean this is a leap between like $13 and then this sale. Oh! International Library of Piano Music. And I've got a dozen of these books. And this $150 for these 12 of these books. This is going to be a pain to ship. I may do 2 boxes on that. Simply because they're big. The last time I shipped something that big, the box busted at the post office, and it never got to the buyer. So I am probably, as big as those are, I'm probably going to do 2 boxes, but it's media mail. I'm out, an extra $10, maybe? So that's my advice when you have big, heavy books. If you look out and sell an encyclopedia set, I don't do encyclopedia sets, but there are certain big sets that I'll grab if they're cheap enough, and if it's a full set. This was one book short of a full set actually, which is kind of interesting. That tells you that there's some value in this. I think you can actually sell some of these. I almost went and sold these individually for like 10 to 15 a piece. Almost did, but I think I came out better doing this. But you have to be aware if... I would almost say that you should probably divide up books. If you don't... For a box about that big, maybe a little bit bigger, If it feels this is about as big as you need to do when you're doing books. Uh, and simply because of the weight. So you keeping it under about 10 pounds per box. Now, that being said, I've only had one bust on me over the years. So something to think about, but that's probably what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to put those in 2 different boxes. So anyway, that's my sales. Now on to listings. I actually haven't had a great week other than one thing, finding stuff this week. Just the way it runs sometimes is you don't find much. Some weeks you don't find much. So I went all over and started grabbing stuff. I was like, okay, I got boxes and bins and stuff that's not listed. I need to bundle stuff. So I went through and I bundled a bunch of things and figuring things out here and there. Then I grabbed some action figures from behind me, actually. So I got several of these guys. This is actually by himself. This may be a $10, $12 Transformer. But these are all like $8, $9, $10 figures. I'm hoping to get a little bit more for Hawkman. This is a Superpowers Hawkman. I'm hoping to get a little bit more for him, but he's a little beat up. Let's see. Several books. Let's see what books we're in. This is a series that I'm curious about, and I think if you ever see them, they're worth grabbing. Images of America. This one is Camp Forest in Tennessee. Usually these are old photographs of some local history type of books, and there's a big series about them. And I think it's one of those things like it's locally published. It's not locally published, but published for like local museums and local usage. I actually kept one for K&B drugstores. There's Images of America, K&B drugstores out of New Orleans. So, because I had a K&B near where I grew up in Baton Rouge. So, this one is actually signed by Elizabeth Taylor. No, not that Elizabeth Taylor. So, this one actually is a signed edition. So, $15, give or take on this. So, we'll see how that goes. Next up, Theology again. Knowing God by J.R. Packer. This is an older book, and it's worth a little bit more. Don't know why, because I don't think it went through edition changes. This book actually consistently sells in about the $7 or more range. So this is a book kind of worth getting if you can get it cheap enough. And this one I got, and this one's going for, I can get a little bit more for this one. I'm also in a few communities where I can move this easily. Fire and Ice DVDs. This is an old Sword and Sorcery cartoon from the 80s. $15 to $20. This thing's still sealed, too. So, Black Death, the world's most devastating plague. It was a TED Talk. It's very, very good. You can go get on Audible. I think has it, and it's worth listening to if you got a few hours, or throw it on in your car. Very interesting, very well done. Just absolutely, just very, very good work. So, and it goes this thing. I'm gonna harp up on this with it. This even goes into how the Black Death worked, like biologically. It starts off. It explains how it works biologically, with helps explain how it spread and all the instances and that sort of stuff. So, good series. And everything else I listed is old kids books and Watts, Bachelor Ingalls Wilder books, reworked Yellow Spine Daw books. So just a big handful of that sort of stuff. I need to get moved. I need to get listings, because I've explained before, if you've been out there, eBay likes two things more than anything else. eBay likes sales. It likes it when you list something that sells and sells quickly. Its algorithm bumps you up. eBay also likes new, consistent listings. So it really likes it when you list stuff that sells, but it really does like new listings. So that's one of the things that helps with your algorithm is listing something every day. I think a lot of the other stuff that is just tweaking it just takes a back seat. I don't delist relist. I let the 30-day rollover handle that. That's a debatable position as to whether or not you should be doing delisting relisting. I kind of take the position that if you have to delist relist, you need to really question whether or not your product is worth selling. But that's also, you can also have to deal with that highly competitive stuff. But when everybody's delisting relisting, just delisting relisting really work. Other than that, I think that's it for today. I maybe go ahead and try to get some yard sales tomorrow, but it's been real rainy lately. So that will be a question. I did a loop today. Nothing. Nobody has anything out this morning. So that is what's going on there. So now that we're done with that, you have a good day. Like, comment, subscribe.